Hello, my name is Tanay Tiwari and welcome to Buzz This Week, a show where the stars don't need to align for us to match. You can be fair or dusky, 6 feet tall or 5 feet 3 if you love cricket and if you love jokes. We're a match. If you love either of them, we're still a match. But if you love neither, then all my effort is wasted. On the show this week, IPL 2020 save the date. The raw deal for women's cricket in India. And the art of making comebacks feat Virat Kohli and Stuart Broad. Earlier last week, T20 World Cup 2020, due to happen in Australia later this year, was postponed by the ICC. And then, just the suddenness of the move, the sheer unpredictability of the move, the fact that there was no warning at all. You can see you can do it like this as well. Perfectly fine. And that is why the news is out. IPL 2020 is set to take place in the UAE starting September 19th with the final likely on November 8th. So where did you hear this news first? The good news is that the IPL may happen this year between September and November in the UAE. We get you all the latest and the breaking news from cricketing world right here on Buzz This Week. But here's an additional news. Nes Wadia, co-owner of the Kings 11 Punjab, said that he would want COVID tests to happen on every player, every day of the league. There are other expectations like this from various other franchises. They need to be on board and on the same page for IPL to take place. The final details of IPL 2020 will be zeroed in on at the IPL Governing Council meeting due to happen now on August 1st, where a number of important topics will be on agenda. But the news is solid. The teams are expected to reach the UAE by August 20th to set up training camps of 4 weeks where the players will get ready for the tournament. But not all is as happy and joyous with the announcement of IPL 2020, because the same BCCI that is ready to move the world, move mountains to make IPL 2020 happen, is not affording the same priority and attention to women's cricket, or so it seems. The last time we saw Indian women play was at the T20 World Cup final earlier this year. Big stage, big show. You could see that there was momentum that was propelling them towards brighter times. And then the pandemic struck. Post that, tours after tours kept getting cancelled. The latest addition to that list being India's tour of England, which was scheduled for September, which the BCCI cancelled without giving an official reason for that. And that's not it. Indian women's cricket right now is without a selection committee. The previous selection committee's tenure ended earlier this year and there's not been an appointment ever since. Also, after Sabah Karim's tenure ended as the general manager of cricket operations within the BCCI, there's no one-point contact for women's cricket in the BCCI, and that is staggering. Indian women's cricket has scaled new heights in the last 2 years, promised a brighter future, and that is why all that we can hope for is for the BCCI to invest not only as much attention but also resources into what promises to be a brighter future not only for Indian women's cricket but also Indian women's sport. But the troubles for the BCCI are not one-fold. BCCI President Saurav Ganguly's tenure ended on July 26th. After this, he has to go into a mandatory cooling off period of 3 years because he has served in Indian cricket administration for 6 years, split between, of course, his presidency at the Cricket Association of Bengal and the BCCI. But there are growing voices from all corners in support of Saurav Ganguly continuing as the BCCI president until the 2023 World Cup, and that his cooling off period be waived off. Now that is the BCCI's constitutional side of things. What does the fan in you say? Do you think Dada should continue at the helm of the BCCI until 2023? You can tell us using #BuzzThisWeek on Twitter. Comebacks are perhaps the coolest thing that humans do. I mean, think of it. You're in a game of Uno, trailing, your friend keeps making you pick cards after cards, and then you strike back. Draw fours after draw fours. How cool is that? मतलब अपने आप एक ऐसा केप आ जाता है ना, सुपर हीरो वाला फील आता है. Now imagine doing something like that in the sport that you love at the highest level. Well, not a lot of people get that opportunity, but some of them do. Virat Kohli had a torrid tour of England in 2014. In an interview with Mayank Agarwal, he said that after returning from England in 2014, he spoke with Sachin Tendulkar, adjusted his technique, ensured that his stance was right, he wasn't opening up too early, and then he went back to England in 2018. He not only countered every situation, dominated every bowler, but also emerged as the highest run scorer in that series. How cool is that? Penao banao, Virat bhai ko cape penao. Ek nahi, do penao. But he's not the only one who's fond of making comebacks. Stuart Broad is also dishing out lessons on the art of making comebacks. He was dropped from the first test of the Wisden Trophy. He was frustrated, anguished, said he wanted to play. What does he do? He storms back to become England's leading wicket taker in Wisden Trophy 2020 and is now en route to becoming only the fourth fast bowler in Test match history to pick up 500 wickets. Now, how cool is that from Stuart Broad? Your buzz challenge last week was to send us your cricketing memories, pictures, videos, just anything. And all of you, all those entries that you sent in were so endearing. Have a watch. Wow, Sumant, your son has got some flair with that bat, man. And Pratham, that is one badass photo. Your buzz challenge for this week is tricky. It is IPL time. And what you have to do is pick one player from any franchise that you would want to be traded to your favorite team. But there is a caveat. You can't pick that team's captain. And caveat number 2 is that you have to give one player from your side who does a similar thing. So for instance, if I am a Mumbai Indians fan and if I want Yuzvendra Chahal to come into the Mumbai Indians, I will have to trade a leg spinner back to the RCB as well, or a spinner. Tricky hai. Dimag daudao, phir ungliyan daudao. Send us your entries using hashtag BuzzThisWeek on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just anywhere. That's all that we have for you on this episode of Buzz This Week. Until next week, remember... Oh, I had a joke on cricket, man. I'll tell you next week. Do tune in.